It might not have been pretty, but the Red Raiders start out their Big 12 slate 2-0 with a 44-41 victory over the Cincinnati Bearcats. In today's video, we will recap it, take a look at the stats and what stood out for the Red Raiders in this victory to get them to 4-1 on the season and headed out to Arizona undefeated in conference play. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast, and a couple things real quick. If you're excited about this Texas Tech victory over Cincinnati, like the video, and then head down to the comment section and give me your one word to describe this Texas Tech victory over Cincinnati. Mine, I don't know if it's a word, it's more of an expression, but it's just, whew. You know what I mean? Y'all know what I mean. That game took probably a year, maybe two off your life if you're a Texas Tech fan. But a win is a win regardless of how ugly it is, specifically on the defensive side. We'll take a look at the offensive stats here in a second. But if you enjoyed just Texas Tech winning that game overall, like the video and then give me your one word to describe that victory down below. All right, let's jump right into the stats here because we're just going to look at everything for Texas Tech. And I thought it was interesting in the sense of you had one running back, at least listed running back, on the roster have a carry in this game. No Cam Dickey in terms of touches. He dropped a pass, so I guess he did touch the football. But Tahj Brooks had every running back carry in this game for the Red Raiders. 32 total touches for Tahj Brooks in this one for 172 yards and 2 TDs, averaging 5.4 yards per carry. He is well ahead of pace to get to that all-time leading rushing mark for the Texas Tech football program. And people, I truly mean this when I say this. Please don't take Tahj Brooks for granted. Like, he is arguably the greatest running back in Texas Tech football program history. Enjoy him while you have him in the scarlet and black, because it is a treat each and every Saturday that he puts on the scarlet and black. Now, speaking of scarlet and black, the head man when it comes down to it, in terms of the offense, at least for the Red Raiders, Behren Morton, I thought was pretty good. He should have had 3 touchdown passes, but Coy Aiken dropped his 3rd touchdown pass. He was Behren Morton was 19 of 29, 251 yards, 2 TDs, no interceptions, a 66% completion percentage. Nothing crazy with the QB rating of 161. The leading wide receiver for the Red Raiders, tell me if you've heard this before, was Josh Kelly with 8 receptions, 111 yards, and 10 targets. Now, Coy Aiken had both of those TD receptions from Behren Morton with a line of 3 catches for 78 yards and 2 TDs. Dre McCray had more catches than Coy Aiken with 5 for 39. Outside of that, you had 3 other skill position players catch a football in this one for a grand total of 23 yards. Now, when it came down to Texas Tech and the penalty side of things, they were much better in the second half. In the first half, they had 4 penalties for about 22, 27 yards, right? They weren't great there. In the second half, in its totality, they had 1 penalty. And that really allowed them to stay in this game, because the defense, outside of really 1 play, I guess I should give them credit for 2, really wasn't that great in this game. Sorsby was absolutely cooking the Red Raiders secondary, throwing for 426 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception. That 1 pick resulted in 7 points because it was a pick 6 from A.J. McCarty. Now, you look at the running game, it's a little skewed because Cincinnati lost their leading rusher in Kiner on the first drive of the game, first possession of the game for the Bearcats. He did not return. But you look at some of the numbers that these guys had in the passing game, including Xavier Henderson, 7 catches, 127 yards, and 1 touchdown. The guy that absolutely cooked the Red Raiders over the middle was Royer, the tight end. He had 7 catches for 66 yards, and he was really, really timely with his receptions in terms of 3rd downs. But overall in this one, if we're giving grades to each side of the football, the Texas Tech offense, they punted 1 time all night. They punted 1 time, people. Like, you can't give anything outside of an A- in this one. So that's what I'm going to give them. But when it comes to the defense, D-, I mean, it was bad. Luckily, the only reason it's not an F is because you did have that pick 6 and the fumble, but Texas Tech offensively turned that fumble into 7 points. So that was huge, obviously. But overall, the defense got cooked. Now, there are a couple plays that I kind of want to talk about, at least a drive I want to talk about from the Texas Tech standpoint, because, again, they were good all night. Every drive resulted in points except for one. Okay, you can't get really too mad about that in the grand scheme of things. That said, there was one drive that resulted in a field goal that was beyond infuriating for me, and it was when Texas Tech got down to the 6-yard line, and it almost felt like Zach Kittley was just settling for a field goal to go up 2 possessions. And now I want to say I do understand the logic of, okay, let's not be too aggressive passing the football here. We have the 3 points, at least in theory, to kick the football, go up 2 possessions. I can understand that. But why not give the ball to Tahj Brooks? You're on the 6-yard line. It's 1st and goal. You have the best running back in the Big 12. I don't think that that's a debate anymore. He is the best one, right? Why not give him the opportunity to see what he can do from the opposing 6-yard line? It didn't make much sense to me. Now, that is a very small qualm. I get it, but it is something that I thought about during the game. Like, why didn't he do that? Didn't make much sense. In the end, the big difference in this one was the fact that, well, the Cincinnati kicker missed 2 kicks, one before half and one at the end of the game. Doesn't matter how you win the game if you're Texas Tech. A W is W, and I don't care if it's ugly, beautiful, whatever you want to call it. That's a win. And now Texas Tech moves to 4-1 on the season, 2-0 in the Big 12, heading out to Arizona, a team that, well, played alongside Utah and had them on the ropes at the time of this recording, right? Maybe they won the game. I don't know. You're going to have to tell me down in the comments. But that's a big game for Texas Tech because you know how the Red Raiders have struggled. Hopefully they can go out and have a good showing out in the desert and then go into their bye week. But if we're being honest about it, this is probably where you expected Texas Tech to be in terms of maybe worst case scenario, but also maybe even best case scenario for some, considering the start to the season against Abilene Christian and Washington State, right? You're 4-1. You've won 3 games in a row. You were dominant against UNT. That game was over before UNT even realized they were in the 806. Then you have the game against Arizona State where you jump out to a 14-0 lead and you kind of take your foot off the gas, but you're really kind of in control for a majority of that game. And then offensively against Cincinnati, at least, you look pretty damn good against only 1 punt all night, right? Your defense still has a ton of issues. You have to figure out what is going on with this pass rush because I don't even know if you can call it a pass rush. There is no pass rush. Texas Tech has 4 sacks in 5 games. You got to figure something out if you're Coach McGuire and Tim DeRuyter on that front, right? You have to because your secondary is absolutely getting cooked. Now, to be fair to the secondary, you lost Chapman Lewis in this game due to injury. You didn't have Braylon Lux playing in this one, your best corner. You better hope you have him next weekend against McMillan of Arizona. But overall, again, a lot to fix on the defensive side. But offensively, you really feel good about how heavy Zach Kittley has leaned into the RPO and play action type passing game in this offense because it allows the defense to really hesitate for a second. And that allows Behren Morton to throw into bigger windows down the field and also allows Tahj Brooks to run into a less aggressive box, right, when running the football. So, again, overall, not the prettiest win, but damn it, I'll take a win any way we can get them if you're a Red Raider fan. I hope you're with me on that one as Texas Tech beat Cincinnati by a score of 44-41 in an absolute thriller during Parents Weekend in a blackout at night at the Jones. Win's a win. I'll take it any way I can get it. And, hey, I just want you to interact with the video too. So do these couple things for me. Like the video, hit that subscribe button, and go down to the pinned comment and give me your one word to describe this Texas Tech victory. Again, mine is just, whew, hey, you take them how you can get them. And that's exactly what the Red Raiders will seek because, hey, when it comes to W's, you got the 4-1. It doesn't tell you how you won it. It just says you did, right? Regardless if it's ugly or not, you take those W's. Now Texas Tech will head out to the desert to face off against Noah Fafita and Trayvon McMillan in the Arizona Wildcats next Saturday night. Get your caffeine ready. A 10 p.m. kickoff. I'm actually falling asleep just thinking about it right now. Central Time. Unbelievable. But again, let me know your one word down on the pinned comment below. And if you want to join the largest group of Texas Tech fans here on YouTube, over 10,000 strong, almost 10,700 subscribers here on this channel. 3 simple steps. Like the video, hit that subscribe button, and join the Back to 12 squad today for 100% free Texas Tech content.